I think we all have experienced being in relationships where it doesn't work out, and when it don't work out, at least one person is feeling dissatisfied. Usually the one who's being dumped. And of course some people who do the dumping, they also somewhat feel kind of bad because of, the fact that they feel that they hurt your feelings. What kind of drive me to do this right here is a story it was a message. I was reading messages boards. It was just a random message somebody put online. And it was a woman who was seeking advice. And she said, I'm paraphrasing, that she told her, I guess, the guy who she was dealing with, her boyfriend, that she don't feel like it's working. She don't really love him like she thought she did. And she think that they should go their separate ways, and she apologized to him. This guy, of course, threatened to kill himself in his life if she ever leave him. And she asking to the random people, should she stay, or does she feel like she's a bad person? She didn't really meant to hurt him. She just don't feel like it's working for whatever reason. And it could be the fact that he's is unstable. And the interesting part about that story, the interesting part about the story is it's a situation I don't really know the guy, but this guy who used to work with my uncle, and my uncle told me the story, and I actually seen pictures of him, and I was looking. He seemed to be a successful, not successful, of course, but I say as far as family wise, he seemed more successful. He seemed more happy. He had a wife and kids. I think that they may probably got into an argument or disagreement where it led to them separating, or either on the verge of divorce. And he got like two daughters, I believe. She took the daughters and decided to leave. He, I mean, if you were to look at him, he seemed like, I mean, from what my uncle told me, he seemed he like he was okay. Like he didn't let anything bother him. Unfortunately, he was found by his own brother with a gun in his hand. He shot himself in the head. And I think that was a fact that was more of a factor of his wife leaving him. And I think what part that set him off is, I was saying before I guess before he off himself, he seen a video of he see a picture of his, I guess, former wife and her new guy she was dealing with, the new guy she's dealing with, taking love pictures together. And she even sat on his lap and saying things like, "This is my new man." And I don't know if she do that for spite, knowing that he's a he follow her on Facebook. But she told somebody, "Oh, this is my man." I didn't think, because I was thinking she might have said, "This is my man. This is my man, and he's better." I don't think she said it. Some people say she said that, but I don't think that was the case. She just say somebody made a comment saying, "Look at you," and she say, "Girl, this is my new man." And more likely he saw it, like, because I was putting two to two together. And this coming from what my uncle told me. The next day, that's when he killed himself. And from what rumors stating, it seems like he actually loved the woman and the kids. Well, to answer the question from what the person who asked that question, the writer, go ahead and leave. Don't see you don't. That's not your responsibility to. It's not really your responsibility to stay in a relationship that you don't really want to be in just to appease somebody else, because that person is clearly mentally unstable, and either they will probably will kill themselves if they don't want to kill themselves. More than likely, they're using a manipulative tactic to keep you there and try to make you feel guilty. And that's the kind of like the topic I want to talk more about: guilt. People stay in relationships based on guilt. Either they might have uh, break up with somebody, even though that person may not do anything too wrong, but that person who usually doing the dumping obviously wasn't happy, or or that person may not get their needs met, just like that the lady that's the message I read on that message board. She seems like she didn't get her. She wasn't really too happy, but she for a while. She kind of stayed with him just to make sure that he doesn't kill himself. Because even though she don't love him like that anymore, she still care for his well being. And I'm here to say, you don't have to feel guilty. That person, you don't have to feel guilty of the person that you leaving. That's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility to seek help. And for the people who would go through extreme measures to keep a woman, I say that's pathetic. That is pathetic. That's weak. The fact that you want to kill yourself over someone, that's very weak. What you should do first is love yourself. Love yourself, because self love is real important, because self love comes first. How do you expect to love someone if you don't love yourself? And also, guilt and being bringing guilt to someone isn't going to make the relationship even isn't going to it won't help the relationship that you try to pursue, either try to get back. It just only will drive them away, because guilty is very unattractive, especially to women. You trying to make them feel guilty, and not just women but people in general. Would you want to fall in love with someone who you feel sorry for? I sure don't want to. You don't love them, but you want to stay with them because you feel so sorry for them. Nobody will want that. And one thing I was told, the best way to if you to get someone back, even though I wouldn't recommend that you get an ex back, because like they say, ex is an ex for a reason. But let's just say that you want to get your ex back, which it happens. And I'm not no relationship guru. I just like to add a side note to that. But I'm just going by psychological. Live your life and be happy and move on. Live your life, be happy, and move on. That's the best thing you could do. They may come back and they may not come back, but let's just say that it's fate that would bring the other person back. If you love something, let it go. And if it come back to you, it was meant to be. If it doesn't, that means it really wasn't meant to be. Well, with the case of the guy that wants to take himself out, he need help. He need to get himself, I guess, need to see a shrink and everything. You can't force anybody to be with you or stay with you. Learn from that lesson. Learn from your mistake. In fact, thank that person for freeing you. That means you're free to talk to anybody you want to. Somebody else will love you just as much as the person may have, or even better. But that's all I'm gonna talk more about in this situation. Never make someone, no, never get with somebody and try to keep them to stay with you based on guilt, because that's unattractive.